This is Dr. D. He wants to research reproduction in seed plants, so he's decided to plant some gymnosperms and angiosperms today to observe their life cycles. He chose a pinus and a rosa. Here he is giving his plants water and giving them sun so that they can photosynthesize properly. The plants are all grown up. They are both in their sporophyte forms here. But that's not enough for him. Dr. D craves more. So the plants, who are very alarmed, begin their life cycles. The pinus, who is a gymnosperm, reproduces via the use of two cones, a male pollen cone and a female ovulate cone. The diploid male sporophyte cone produces haploid microspores, which produce the male gametophyte pollen. This pollen travels through the wind and hopefully lands on a female ovulate cone. The female sporophyte cone is the typical pine tree cone we think of, which has many scales on the outside. These scales are actually ovules. Each ovule contains a diploid megaspore mother cell, which undergoes meiosis to make the megaspore. The megaspore then goes through mitosis and becomes the female gametophyte, which contains the egg and endosperm mother cell. If all goes well, the male pollen gametophyte will land on a scale of a female cone and fuse with the egg, creating the diploid zygote, which then becomes the seed for the new pinus. Then, a small squirrel will come to take the pine cone to a faraway land, where it will become a new plant. But of course, flowers are just as interesting. This angiosperm flower reproduces via bee pollination. It contains a male sporophyte stamen with an anther tip that has pollen on it, the male gametophyte. Bees are attracted to the color of the petals and the sweet nectar that the flowers produce and come to get some. But then, they get pollen stuck to their legs. On the journey to find more nectar, they brush up against the pistil of another, completely different flower. The pistil is the female sporophyte of the flower, and it has a sticky tip called the stigma. When bees put some pollen on the stigma, the flower will grow a pollen tube for the pollen to travel down. The pollen will then travel into the ovary, where it will fertilize the egg and create a zygote. This fertilization begins the fruit growing process. Fruits will grow over time from the ovary, and the flower at the top will shrink. Eventually, a hungry bear stumbles upon the fruit. He decides to munch. He walks for a bit, but what goes in must always come out, and the bear defecates what was once the fruit onto some dirt. The feces will decompose, and the seed remains intact inside. It will then grow into a brand new angiosperm. Dr. D is very happy.